Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena super fight that is happening, I believe, next Monday. It is on August 7th, I believe. Actually, don't quote me on that. I think it's Sunday. Pardon me. Sunday. 7th is a Sunday. No time limits. Super fight. Super match. Super grappling match. No gi, no time limit. Submission only between Gordon Ryan and Felipe Pena. I'm really excited about this match. Guys, you know me. I only review fights that I'm super excited about. First question I think we should ask is this the greatest grappling match in history? Because in my opinion, it's one of the top. That's why I really wanted to cover it. It's one of the top greatest grappling matches in history. Is it the greatest ever? No. The greatest grappling match, in my opinion, of all time is Kimura versus Helio Gracie. The Japanese king, Kimura, flies down to Brazil to try and crush the up-and-coming wildcat Brazilian, Helio Gracie. Helio Gracie had previously beaten the number 2 Japanese fighter. He went through the ranks. He became the number 1 contender. He's fighting Kimura, the legend, a man who hadn't been scored on in 16 years. Kimura was considered unbeatable. In fact, Kimura before the match said, if Helio can survive more than 3 minutes, I'll consider him the winner. The match went on for over 10 minutes. It was about a 13-minute match. Helio Gracie did lose, yes. They threw in the towel. His arm was broken. He got Kimura'd by Kimura. And they threw in the towel. Helio Gracie actually never taps in that match. That, in my opinion, was the greatest grappling match in history. They actually brought a coffin to the match. When Kimura came to the venue, he said, "What's that coffin doing there?" The Brazilians told him, "That's for you. Helio's gonna beat you. We're gonna stuff you in that coffin." Guys, this is happening in Brazil. It's very quite possible that they stuff him in that coffin. For those who've never been to Brazil, take my word for it. What is this thing? YouTube is giving me a pop-up. That was the greatest grappling match in history. Kimura flying down to Brazil to crush what Maeda had started. He started Brazilian Jiu-jitsu in Brazil. The Gracie family making waves. The prominent champion, Helio Gracie at the time. Extremely rebellious. Critiquing the Japanese technique. Breaking all ties with their tradition. Saying that their techniques are inefficient. And he got all the way to second place because he was right behind Kimura. He beat the number 2 Japanese in the world. Well, number 2 Japanese. The Japanese were considered the best. So not only was he number 2 Japanese, he was also second place in the world. Like he was the second best guy in the world. Who was ahead of him? Kimura. First place and second place were all both Japanese. And Kimura, bigger than Helio. I'll probably estimate him probably like 30, 40 pounds bigger than Helio. Goes down. Defeats Helio handedly. Helio never had anything going. Like Helio just defended. Look, it was a matter of time, but it was such an epic match because the Brazilians took over since then. I can't think of a Japan versus Brazil super fight where the Brazilians lose. I can't even think of one. I don't think it's ever happened after. Actually, no, I just thought of one. Hoist lost to, I'm forgetting, in Pride, judoka gold medalist. I'm forgetting, Yoshida. I believe it was Yoshida. But he wasn't, Gracie, Hoist was not out. It was a bad stoppage, etc. I don't count that one. They thought Hoist was out, but Hoist got up. He's like, "What are you talking about? Why the ref stopped the fight?" And he was like, "I'm perfectly fine. It was a mistake on the ref's part." Now, this match. What about this match? We have Gordon Ryan, arguably, in my opinion, he's the greatest no-gi grappler of all time. I'm going to say that openly right now. Fighting a guy who's beat him twice. Now, Felipe Pena, I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time, but he's definitely up there. He's beaten who I consider to be the greatest grappler, no-gi grappler of all time. No-gi grappler. Okay? The greatest no-gi grappler of all time is Gordon Ryan. I'm going to give you guys my pick right away. I'm picking Gordon Ryan to win. And the way I see it, it's 70-30 in the favor of Gordon Ryan. I think Gordon Ryan wins in a landslide. In a landslide. Now, why am I picking Gordon Ryan? For those of you who are not as familiar with Gordon Ryan, he's lost to Felipe Pena twice. Both times was by back take. The first time he got his back taken and choked. The second time he got his back taken and just lost on points. Their first fight was 2015, 2016. Their second fight, 2017 in Abu Dhabi. Their third fight now, 2022. Gordon has been getting better and better and better. We just saw Gordon compete a couple of weeks ago, Marinho versus Marinho, and he just completely crushed him. Crushed him completely. Like, we saw the momentum. The first match between Gordon Ryan and Felipe Pena was doing good. He passed the guard. He passed Gordon Ryan's guard a couple of times. He countered the leg locks 2-3 times. And on the last time he countered the leg lock, it was a finish. You look at Gordon Ryan's physique. He was younger. His technique was not as sophisticated, even though it was extremely good. And now Gordon Ryan is much bigger, much stronger, and even more technical than ever. Their second match, it was amazing because he took Gordon Ryan's back the same way he did in the first match. Now, in the second match, Gordon Ryan versus Pena 2, they spent a lot of time in 50-50. And Gordon Ryan seemed to unable to leg lock Pena, like not even really getting close per se. Like, I couldn't even say, like, I never felt Pena was really gonna get leg locked. Now, Gordon Ryan is famous for his leg locks, but he that's not his best weapon. Gordon Ryan's best weapon is his back control. His back attacks are second to none. I've trained with him. I've done back situation with Gordon Ryan. There's just nothing you can do. When he takes your back, it just seems, forget everything you know. Forget all these back escape systems. They just don't work. Like, they just don't work against a guy at that level. Gordon Ryan's finishing rate, his back attack system, largely developed by John Danaher and also refined by the whole team, of course. But the John Danaher back system, nobody knows it better. Nobody knows it better than Gordon Ryan. And I want to remind everybody out there why this match is so significant, why I felt I needed to do a video on this match. This is no time limit. We're going old school here, guys. For those of you who don't remember or don't know much about the history of fighting, fighting back in the day was no time limits. The winner can only win by stoppage. That's it. You have to stop the other guy. Whether it's submission, knockout, cut, doctor stop, whatever, the guy can't get off the stool. Whatever it is. They didn't even have rounds mostly, but there were fights with rounds. No time limit. And I know a guy by the name of John Danaher who always was talking to me about no time limit fights and how his whole system is predicated on winning no time limit fights. Now, John Danaher has studied more about no time limit fights than anybody in the world. He's obsessed with this notion. He used to tell me and George all the time, like, okay, what if, how did this guy win? Okay, he won like this. What if there was more time? What if it was unlimited time? Could that system have worked? Now, I've said it in the past publicly on my podcast many times, and people have written articles about it, that I think the Diaz brothers are among the most dangerous fighters in the world, far more than already, because in competitive fighting, they're considered the top. But I'm talking about if it was old school rules where there's no time limit, it's rare the Diaz brothers would lose a fight. Very rare. Just think of Nate Diaz's last fight. He's losing all 4 rounds. He comes alive in the 5th, and he looks like he's about to finish his opponent. And imagine there was another round, or a round after that. Now, I'm not saying they would never lose a fight. I'm just saying that, because anybody can lose a fight in MMA, but I'm just saying their style is so efficient and sustainable that I feel that in his fight with Leon Edwards in the 5th round, if there was a 6th or a 7th or 8th, let's say he shot unlimited rounds, even no time limit, that like no 1 minute breaks, he could have got going earlier. And his fight against Leon Edwards could have been very, very different. Now, I think of that all the time. When I watch fights, sometimes I think, yeah, that guy won on the point system and all that. But if that fight continued, that guy was losing. How many times have we seen a guy win round 1, round 2, then get hurt really bad in round 3, get killed with leg kicks or knees, and the other guy ran out of time? And the judges have to give it to the fighter who got a beating in round 3. Why? He won the first 2 rounds. That's how the point system works. Who cares how the point system works? We're not here to accumulate points. If these guys had a fight, a fair fight, who wins? Who walks away? Who leaves on a stretcher and who walks away? That's really, in my mind, when I train, I'm always thinking like that. I'm always thinking like, and John Danaher has been designing his jiu-jitsu to do just that. When Gordon Ryan was a purple belt, he was already in a no time limits match against Keenan Cornelius. Now, Keenan Cornelius was a world-class black belt, world champion at the time already. And John was comfortable enough to put his young purple belt up against Keenan Cornelius in a no time limit match. And for those of you who hadn't seen it, that match lasted, I would say, about an hour and a half. Sorry, guys, I'm in a really hot room. I'm doing this podcast now because I have to do it really late at night because I have no time. I've been traveling like crazy. My wife and kids are on vacation, so I've been spending a lot of time with them. That's why my podcast has slowed down. So I'm planning on getting back to regular schedule now that the vacation time is winding down. Keenan Cornelius, a world-class grappler, going up against a world-class John Danaher purple belt. Okay, John Danaher purple belt is a black belt. And in no time limit match, and the match lasted an hour and a half. Now, I know some matches last 4, 5, 6 hours, but the pace these two had, it was just constant battle. It wasn't just like, it was constant exchanges, back and forth, an exhausting pace. And for those who didn't see it, Gordon Ryan finally gets a heel hook. Finally catches a heel hook. I don't think Keenan Cornelius has ever been heel hooked in his entire career. John Danaher has been prepping Gordon Ryan for a no time limits match for over 10 years. And John's system is sustainable. They have a whole philosophy, a whole arsenal about how to go about fighting a no time limits match. They're psychologically prepared. Just that alone is why I give Gordon Ryan such a mass. Not only is he technically better, physically more athletic, I would say. He's also been prepping his mind for a no time limit match for the last 10 years. Now think about this, all of you. If Gordon Ryan wins this match, he'll have avenged his the only other guy he's ever lost to. He's lost against, who else has he lost against? I'm forgetting now. Vinny Magalhães. He's lost also to Vinny Magalhães. I don't think he ever avenged that. But he doesn't really need to, because now, like, Vinny Magalhães, yes, of course, Vinny Magalhães was one of the top in the world, but he's not at that high tier as much anymore. Okay, so he's kind of slipped. So the only other top guy with Gordon, the only other guy we could say is just as good as Gordon, because Gordon never beat him and he beat Gordon, is Felipe Pena. If he beats Felipe Pena on Sunday, I think it's August 7th. Is August 7th Sunday? I don't want to get this wrong. Let me check my calendar here. Yes, this Sunday, gentlemen. This Sunday. Okay, I've been rambling on. I'm going to take comments and questions very shortly. Let me just wrap this up. If Gordon beats him and then sees him again in Abu Dhabi, he's going to beat him again, I think. And then there'll be 2-2. And then Gordon Ryan will want to fight him one last time just to even it out, just to cement his legacy. I think that's the plan. I think eventually that's what's going to happen. He's going to beat him Sunday. He's going to see him in September in Abu Dhabi, which is Abu Dhabi this year. I'm super excited about Abu Dhabi. Like, it's so stacked. The Abu Dhabi this year is so stacked. I can't wait to see it. I actually got a couple of students in there as well. I'm super excited about Abu Dhabi this year. I don't know what to expect. That's what it really excites me. The guys are so good. I can't wait to see it. If Gordon beats him on Sunday, he's setting himself up to beat him again in Abu Dhabi. And Abu Dhabi, I think, will be even easier because I think Gordon's going to out-wrestle Pena. And in a no-time in this match, who cares if you out-wrestled him? It doesn't really matter. You put him on his back. You got to finish him. Abu Dhabi, you can score big points. Of course, it's more complicated than that. You have to do it when there is points. I'm not going to get into all the details of Abu Dhabi right now, but it's easier to put up points on the board and move on in the tournament. However, now he has to sub Pena, which is not easy. To sub Pena, in my opinion, the only way he could really sub Pena successfully, I think it's going to be a back take and a rear naked choke. I don't think heel hooks are going to work. They might, but not so dependable. Pena seems to be extremely wise, incredible at countering leg locks, of course. Armbar, I don't see it. Triangle, very difficult. Kimura, not really. No, I don't think so. Guillotine. It's rear naked choke or guillotine. That's how I see it.